Welcome everyone to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I'm joined once again by my good friend Matt.
Hey Chris, you want to spend $500 million on advertising this podcast and then just fuck off?
You know what? I think it's a good strategy. I'm all for that's how we're gonna run our podcast, campaign, and because we'll just rack in a bunch of cash that way, and then we'll just build a mansion somewhere. I don't know.
Stop recording. Who fucking needs it?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll still have to pay off our student loans because we spent all the money on the advertisement, but.
Right. Well, as long as we get like those just big name people telling others how good our podcast is.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be the gold standard right there. And then when we fuck off, like no one really care. There's other better podcasts out there, but we'll just endorse another podcast and we'll move on and we'll deal with the millions that we've spent. That's all.
Exactly.
We're well off. It's fine.
Anyways, football.
Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast, episode 2.
Wait, hold on. I need to do a second intro.
Why? Why do a second intro?
Because I just found this fucking tweet. You know the question.
Okay.
You know the question of is Kool-Aid Man the jar or the Kool-Aid?
Yes.
The official Kool-Aid Twitter tweeted out a picture of Kool-Aid Man the jar without any liquid in it, and then just the liquid, and it says me and also me. So he is both of them, meaning there are two Kool-Aid Mans.
Wait, hold on a second. You had to break this down for me.
Okay.
Actually, better yet,
I will send the picture.
Yeah, give me the Kool-Aid Twitter account, if that's even the thing.
Yes, it is.
That is disturbing. Does it mean it's like a
also
go ahead.
The face is on both of them.
Right. Is this his way of breeding? Is that what it is? Is that
I don't know.
Or is he showing his parents? Is that what's happening?
One parent is jar, one parent is Kool-Aid, put them together. It's like a Steven Universe fusion. Is that what we're supposed to believe?
I think that's what it is. I think it's a fusion. And I think he's claiming that he is his parents, which hey, suit yourself, my friend. If that's the case, sometimes I would say most times parents are really cool. So why not?
All right, sorry. I needed to talk about that.
Fair enough. So as you can tell, this is the second one of our off-season podcasts because not much is happening. Yeah. So to give you just a brief overview of things, because of the CBA and all the negotiations, I was just telling Matt. Essentially, we've gotten an extra week of off season that we didn't necessarily need, but I guess the NFL and the players need to negotiate all the terms and nonsense on that front. And so our podcast is landing not in the week of where franchise tags are necessarily going to be due. That's going to be next Thursday. But instead, we would have been looking forward to free agency next week. It's going to be 2 weeks from now, and then when we do our next podcast, it's going to be the middle of free agency. And
yes.
Forgive us, we're not really going to do a major free agent preview or anything like that, so I'm sure you could get that anywhere else. We'll certainly talk about all the free agent stuff. We'll gladly talk about it once it actually happens. But for right now, we got some other stuff that we want to take care of, some other things that we want to look forward to. But before we do that, let's go to the news. We'll start with the CBA because I think it was kind of shortly after we did the podcast on it was like Tuesday. We filmed it on like a Tuesday a few weeks ago. And then so that's why this news feels so long ago. The CBA and the supposedly in the CBA, which something that has been negotiated for a while, is that the NFL wants to include a 17-week season. That would or excuse me, 17-game season. I wrote week here for whatever reason, as if we don't already have that. A 17-game season. That's basically more money in the pot. That's pretty much the only reason, and it's another incentive for when they renegotiate the broadcasted deals with the 4 major networks. And the other side of it, which even if it doesn't pass the CBA, the NFL owners could still implement it, and that's a 14-team playoff, which would take away a bye week for the 2 seed, and the 2 and 7 seeds would be battling out on wildcard weekend, which means that we would have 6 wildcard games to watch on playoff weekend, with the 1 seed basically having the ultimate power of being the only team with a bye week in the playoffs. What are your thoughts on all of this?
So I want to bring up just the playoff bracket format.
Sure.
The MLB recently was talking about expanded playoffs.
Okay.
And my thoughts on that are very similar. It would be 7 teams total for each conference. Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So that's 14 out of 32 teams are in the playoffs. So that is percentage-wise about 43% of teams. So not quite half. 16 would be half, but almost half.
Yeah.
The MLB was also doing thinking of doing this playoff expansion with a fucking wild setup that I'm not going to go into, but basically it involves choosing opponents with like one ultimate bye, like the NFL. Essentially, it's wild. They have 30 teams, and that's one less than half. I don't think close to half of the teams in sports leagues this big should make the playoffs, especially in football where everything only happens once a week.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. I don't think it should expand to 14. I think 12 out of 32 is a great percentage.
Yeah,
and especially with how the divisions are divided up, it makes sense.
Yes.
If you want to get in the playoffs, prove that you're the best. Like, who would want to see the Cowboys in the playoffs this year? Because that's what we would get.
No,
we wouldn't. We would get the Rams.
Yes.
But who wanted to see the Rams in the playoffs this year? Rams weren't that good this year.
No, you're right. I get it. Here's where I stand on it, because I think the 17-week thing, it seems inevitable because of the owners wanting it for a long time. It's basically their main negotiation point. I don't see them adding a 17-game slate without adding an additional bye week as well, and this would include getting rid of 2 preseason games as well, supposedly this. Which, so I don't think, when I look at that, I don't think, I personally like the 16-game slate. And that's just a personal thing. I look at the fact that they that the records, you're just used to the way the records look at the end of the year, and they look nice, and like it's nice to have a 8-8 team, but that will no longer exist, or it won't exist minus like a tie.
8-1,
and but most of the time the mediocre teams would either have a winning record at 9-8 or a losing record at 8-9, and that, I don't know, I could see the perception of those kind of being like that people would just be, oh, this team was good because they got they had a winning record, 9-8.
Right.
It's just like
No.
it's like, come on, let's not.
Or they were bad because they had an 8-9 record.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like,
And it's also
come
like
on.
in terms like where would that extra game? Which opponent would be that extra game?
So the way I've been hearing it, and I haven't read the CBA, so I forgive both of us for if we're ignorant about any of this stuff. But the way I've understood it, it's gonna be like an NFC. It's gonna be someone in the NFC,
Okay.
which that part I like.
Well, like an NFC team would face the NFC.
Would face the AFC. That's what I meant to say.
They would face a random opponent in the other.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I don't know why I was thinking
Yeah.
it from the mindset of an AFC team.
You just said NFC.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
all 17 games. 17 games would be the NFC.
Yeah.
No, I get it because like the way it works now, like for those unaware for some reason, it's six division games.
Mhm.
There's one division that your division kind of pairs up with, faces all for like this past year was NFC North, NFC East would all face each other, and then one your division would face off against a division in the other conference. So NFC North and NFC West. I'm a Bears fan. That's why I'm doing NFC North. And then depending on where your team finished, in your conference you would face the other teams you faced at that spot. So the Bears finished first last year. They faced the Saints and the Rams this year.
Yep.
In addition to the NFC East team. So that's how it's always been. So I was just wondering where that other one was going to come from.
Yeah.
It makes sense to just have it in the other conference.
Yeah, and you know what though? Like I think this is where I would like I could like the idea a little bit more about the 17 game season, where they kind of implement like a rivalry, like that, like the Giants and Jets finally playing every single year or something, and how they would determine like the way that they have the home away thing figured out, that where they would have one year where all the NFC teams host the AFC teams, and then another year where all the AFC teams host the NFC teams, or something along those lines.
Do you think it would be consistent, like Giants Jets every year?
It probably wouldn't, because then you would maybe you would put assign like another team to the Giants and Jets, like for like you would have to assign another team to the Giants and Jets rivalry, because then the Jets would be playing the Giants twice a year, or twice every 4 years. Wait, hold on. Forgive me. I'm not phrased this well.
I get it.
But
I understand. Every 4 years, there would be a time where that would line up.
Being twice a season.
Where it would schedule twice a season.
Yeah. So then that I could see maybe that it wouldn't be consistent in that sense. Maybe there would be like a fallback rival option or something like that would come up if they decided to move away from it. Like, I don't know. That's, I guess, the big question is, I don't know how they're gonna organize it where they have the rivals. If they make it a rival thing, or if they just kind of have it where the teams just like change every single the different team that you play changes every single year, and there's some sort of weird pattern that you have to follow, like a weird chart that's gonna be fucking made for the 17th game. It's gonna be so ridiculous. And it also opens up the opportunity for international games, which I've never really been personally against. I get it. I feel bad for people who lose home games, but it kind of gives franchises the opportunity to kind of keep 8 games in their home stadium, and then have the 9th game be somewhere random like London or Mexico or whatever. Now back to the 14 team seat playoff real quick. I think yes, I would say I would. Just looking at it, I'm like, no, I'm against it. Like I'm used to having a 12 team playoff. I'm okay with this. It's what we're used to, and we don't need
the NFL
more.
is so mathematically satisfying right now.
Yeah,
that
but with
messing with it,
right? But with that said, who wouldn't want to see 3 playoff games who wouldn't want to watch a playoff weekend that has 6 games?
6 games
from like at 1:00 in the afternoon to like 11:00 at night. You're just watching football for Saturday and Sunday. I would enjoy that.
Sounds great, but it would feel like, I feel like it would be great on Saturday, and then you realize you get to Sunday, it's like, oh shit, I have to watch 3 fucking more games.
I don't know. I guess because it depends on the fan, but I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. But at least for me,
Yeah.
I look at it. I think I could see where it's a lot of fun. To how it plays out. And look, we're chaos guys.
Yeah.
Who knows? There could be a scenario where the 7th seed knocks out the 2 seed. I mean, we saw it this year with the Titans knocking out the 1 seed. I mean, it's like these things happen, and this kind of opens up the door for some really chaotic bullshit to happen. And I'm not against the playoff as much as I would be against like a 17 game season. I feel like that I feel like the 17 game season would be more. I'd be more worried about the health of the players a little bit. I know it's just 1 game, but it still matters. Whereas a 14-team playoff, it's not necessarily that you're adding an extra game for the 2 seed, but not really anyone else, and that's I can deal with that a little bit more on that front. But I do think that puts the 1 seed in a fucking amazing position.
It's almost like too good.
It is like the 1 seed is now more powerful than ever before in this situation, and I mean we have to talk about this as if it's going to happen, because it probably is. As long as the NFL owners have their thumb on the scale of things, which they almost always do, that this is happening. And even if the CBA doesn't do, there's going to be CBA talks for like going deep into the summer or even longer, where we start getting like holdouts and stuff if it gets really bad. Regardless of how the CBA thing turns out, the 14-team playoff is going to happen. The NFL owners don't need to negotiate with the players to let that happen. The 17 game schedule, they would have to absolutely talk to the players, because that involves roster compensation, that involves extra work time for them. That there's a lot more there. A 14-team
more stress on the body.
Exactly, 14-team playoff would just basically the playoffs. It would just be adding on teams to the playoff that weren't there before, and just adding another game for the 2 seed. But it's like the 2 seed would be basically playing the same amount of games as a 3 seed or a 4 seed, and depending on however long they lasted the playoffs. And that's there's not as much of like a technical like, okay, it needs to be put into the contract type thing. So that's where we're at right now. And we're gonna keep tabs on the CBA, see how it all unfolds. There's a lot happening. Something about like, I think they want to get rid of like the transition tag. The franchise tag would still be in place, but the team would not be able to put like a second tag on a player.
A tender.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The transition tag is kind of like it gives teams the opportunity to kind of like swoop in and pick up that player. But that would eliminate that, and it would just stick to the franchise tag, and then the second player that you'd want to tag, you would just have to either sign to a long-term contract or let go. I think that's another part of the contract. There's a lot, and I'm sure that once the CBA is passed, we will know a lot more. That's going to be voted on going into next week as well. So a lot of crap happening when we're going to be off for a week. So great.
They're vacuuming right above me, so if you hear a weird grinding sound, that's what
I was wondering. It's totally fine. I kind of just assumed like a heater went on or something. It's all good. All right, let's talk about some of the trades. We do have new trades for the new year already. Nothing that is locked in until March 18th, when the new league year is supposed to start. And let's start with Jacksonville, who sends their last big star of their secondary in the 2017 run. Sends AJ Bouye to the Denver Broncos for a 4th-round draft pick. What was your reaction to this, Matt?
Inevitable. But also just... This should, like, Doug Marrone should not be the coach right now, but especially, like, this is, like, Doug Marrone's on the way out territory for me. Because you don't have anyone on the defense, like, that you had in the 2017 run. Calais Campbell, obviously.
Right.
And some other ones. The secondary is gone.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like this is signaling like a rebuilding mode. Like, hey, let's get some Let's get some stuff for our star and see what we can get with it.
I mean, it's kind of one thing that is reassuring for the Jacksonville Jaguars is that they would have just cut Boye in a few weeks. Like, the dude was on his way out. Anyway, the fact that they were able to get a 4th rounder from the Broncos, that's pretty good. All things considered. But you're right. I think in terms of the state of Jacksonville, it's very much a moment of not really understanding where you're at as a team. I mean, they are in disarray. They are one of the, if you look at the roster compared to other rosters, it's not a hard thing to say they're one of the 3 or 4 worst rosters in the league. And
absolutely.
And there is this notion from Shad Khan that he keeps Doug Marrone and he keeps Dave Caldwell in order to say, yeah, well, you guys are going to stay now, but look, we're going to have to make a deep run next year. We're going to have to go to the Super Bowl. I'm like, dude, I don't even know if you sniff 3rd place in the division. I mean,
you're not going to have
in this roster.
With this roster, no. The Texans and Titans are going to walk all fucking over you. And if the Colts get a quarterback, there's no hope of you not finishing last.
So I am very confused in terms of what the future holds for this team.
Do you think Nick Foles is going to get traded, or do you think they're going to have the most expensive backup?
I think they gotta keep him. I don't think that anyone would want to take Foles on the current contract. I think you're gonna have an expensive backup and roll with Gardner Minshew. I just think, how is this team in this weird position where they appear like they want to win? They say that they want to win now. They say that they're in the position, and they keep the staff on to say, okay, we're gonna win now. Tom Coughlin was the only issue, and then you go ahead and you're gonna basically tag and trade Yannick Ngakoue, because Ngakoue already said that he's done with the team.
Yep.
Boye's out already. He's already been traded. And Larry Fournette has not been the player that he is. We don't know much about. We know that Gardner Minshew has his moments, but we don't know for sure where he's at altogether.
DJ Chark had an emergence, but it doesn't matter when your quarterback situation's weird.
Yeah, it's a very strange time in Jacksonville, and I don't know where to say on that.
Like your win now window was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was essentially right as the ending of the Jaguars Patriots AFC Championship game, which is fucking wild to say even verbally that even happened.
Dude, that call.
Yeah.
If they didn't blow that ball dead, Jacksonville would have made the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And now 2 years later, who knows what this team is? I do want to touch on the Broncos front before we move on. I think that this is a signal that Chris Harris is on his way out. More likely not going to be signed. And I don't think that Boye is the upgrade necessarily at all. I think it's just a kind of an insurance plan for the fact that Harris is moving. But it's a nice move for them overall. And it will definitely try to keep the secondary interesting as Harris is going to be heading free agency. Yep. Then we had the next day we had a trade of offensive linemen. Left tackle Russell Okung of the Chargers got traded to the Panthers, and the Panthers, their 5-time Pro Bowl guard Trey Turner heads to the Chargers. This is really helpful that it's some of your favorite teams right now involved in this stuff.
Yeah.
You get to talk about them. What was your reaction to this when you saw it?
I mean, it's the whole Panthers are in a rebuild thing. You get a younger talent for an older talent. That's pretty much my only take on this.
Yeah. Well, you guys, the Panthers get the older guy.
Oops.
Yeah. Well, so but to your point, the idea that they're training away a young guy for an old guy is probably a sense that the Panthers are going to be rebuilding, and that they're going to have veteran guys everywhere that are okay, that are pretty good to like all right to like just straight up not great. Kind of just try to carry them through the season, and I think ultimately they're going to try to tank for Trevor or whatever the hell the
tank for Trevor. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence.
I guess whatever the campaign slogan.
Cam Newton to Bears.
This is the only point you're gonna hammer. Whenever the Panthers or Bears come up, it's just you have to insert that in. Is that Cam Newton?
That's just what I want right now.
I think the Panthers are. I think they're sticking with.
I think so.
With Cam, but who knows at this point. But no, I do think it's weird that they traded Trey Turner, who is a really good guard, 5-time Pro Bowler, been there 5 times in a row. And dude is like, they just ousted him for no draft picks, I don't think, I have to look back at the trade. I'm pretty sure it was for no draft picks. And they just got like a veteran left tackle in return. Mm-hmm. It's a very strange trade for the Panthers, but I get it from a tanking point of view. You would think you'd want draft picks though. That could help on your side. Chargers get a really good guard. Boost their roster. They need offensive line help going into next season, and certainly we'll see what they do in the quarterback front in free agency. Real quick on the franchise tag front, as we mentioned earlier, Yannick Ngakoue is expected to get tagged. He did express that he is on his way, that he does not want to stay with Jacksonville, that he would like to move on. So likely a tag and trade situation there. Matt Judon is also expected to be tagged by the Ravens, and there's some rumor out there that he could be traded. And Chris Jones is going to be tagged by the Chiefs. AJ Green expected to be tagged by the Bengals. Other names: Dak Prescott, Hunter Henry, Brandon Scherff of the Redskins, and Bud Dupree of the Steelers. All those names expected to be part of the franchise tag discussion, most likely getting tagged, but we will see. Plenty of time ahead on that front. Any thoughts on any of those? Ngakoue or anything?
No, they're not. None of them are surprising. I think that I had a theory long time, like start of last season, where when Zeke got paid, I saw it as like the start of the Cowboys just falling apart. It'd be interesting because Zeke, Dak, Amari all like want to get paid.
Yeah.
And Zeke got paid. Dak's getting franchise tagged. We'll see if he ends up getting paid. I don't think he will at this point, at least not for this season. And I don't know where Amari goes. I don't know if anyone wants Amari because Amari's not that great of a receiver. Yeah. Rather, not that consistent of a receiver. So, I don't know.
He's up and down. And I don't see a scenario where he stays with the Cowboys. It would take an absolute coup. I mean, it would be like you would have to franchise tag Dak and transition tag Amari Cooper, but even then, there could be a push by a team to sign some sort of tender, with Amari, and then the Cowboys are either going to be forced to sign that or see him go. So I don't know what the logistics of that. Do you even want to spend the transition tag on him? Do you think you can extend him before it's all said and done? So I don't know. There's a lot of things that are kind of up in the air on that front. So the Cowboys, hey, your defense is decent. that's where we're at right now.
But just remember, Cowboys fans, your happiness lives and dies at the hands of Jerry Jones.
Yeah, essentially. you gotta rely on a man who loves the cameras more than probably most of you. Yep. And last thing, I had a rough time finding much newsworthiness out of Indianapolis last week was the NFL Combine, by the way. Pretty interesting, fun to watch, but nothing earth shattering happened. Sometimes news kind of pops up around the time of Indianapolis. Didn't really happen too much, I think, because
I heard there was a punter who had a really impressive bench press.
Yes, that did happen. And you know, I'm sure I'll spend the next month, you know, learning about the prospects, and I'll have a better idea of things. Right now, things are kind of up in the air. All I know is quarterback Burrow and Tua, and defensive player Chase Young.
Chase Young.
And Derek Brown. I know Derek Brown because I watched him like just destroy Alabama in the Iron Bowl, and he has my heart for life for what he did for all of us.
How did I thought I heard Herbert did pretty good.
Herbert did pretty good, and so did Jordan Love. And Jordan Love actually, I think, had the better combine overall. And
he wasn't in the top echelon, which is just why I
he's now considered a top 10 pick, Jordan Love.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he actually moved himself up a lot.
Did he skip Herbert, or
do
you think Herbert's still Chargers range?
No, he did skip Herbert in some eyes. I think that there are some who still have Herbert high. But I think there's just some hesitation because he hasn't been like the most like accurate quarterback, and I think that he might become a second rounder even. But no, I think it's nice because you have another one of those drafts where it's like 4 quarterbacks that are going to be vied for, where we had like a few years ago.
A couple years ago.
So
let's see how that worked out. Baker, fucking Rosen, God,
yeah,
Darnold and Allen.
But
Allen is doing the best out of all of them.
Well, no. Then there's the
Lamar Jackson.
There's
obviously.
the fifth
right.
quarterback.
Well, Lamar Jackson was like end of first round, but he wasn't considered in that like upper group.
Yeah, no, you're right.
By a lot of people.
Yep. Yeah, that it's wild. A lot of this, it's all you just don't know. It's one of the weirdest times, but it's so much fun to watch. The only other news item that I really got from this week was that tight end Jimmy Graham will not be retained. He will. Good,
because I have Jay Sternberger on my dynasty.
There you go. He is. I don't know if they're going to release him or what. But the report was he will not be retained, and that's really all the news I have. We're gonna have a podcast. Listen, I don't think this is processed well for anyone right now. When we record our next podcast, which will be the week of the 16th, the 16th is the day that the NFL, what people kind of tag as the tampering period, begins, where players can start negotiating with teams, and we basically know like all the deals that happen as the tampering window like opens. And, like, we already know, like, most of the free agent news. By the time Wednesday comes around, like, nothing interesting happens. On the day that the league year starts, nothing interesting happens because all the interesting stuff happens in that first 2 days. Like, St. Patrick's Day is going to be fucking lit because there's going to be just a shit ton of things. But the 18th comes around, it's like, a player got released. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Moving on. Last week was the NFL Combine. It's the usual drills that happen, the 40-yard dash, the bench press, and, all the route running and the football on a stick, trying to, get these defensive linemen moving, big time offensive linemen as well. I don't know what I'm saying, but regardless, the NFL Combine is a kind of like a what some people call the underwear Olympics, where they basically all run out there in like these leotards and try to show off their best stuff. And so what would happen if there was a gamer combine? Some of the best gamers in the world come together to train to be on the best, I guess, collection of teams that represent themselves as gamers, I guess. Like what would a gamer combine look like? What would we test them with to make sure that they really are ready to play at the next level, at the MLG level?
Step 1, before they can get in, they need to demonstrate proper hygiene. Because
wouldn't the opposite be true?
No, because like you just fucking shower, use deodorant. Just do it. It'll make everybody happier. I don't care how much gamer you are, like just fucking smell okay.
That's true.
Use soap.
I mean,
like I don't know, like I'm trying to think of like an NFL comparison, but I can't. Just let them shower before they come in, or make them. I almost said make them demonstrate how to shower. That's a little weird. So let's not do that.
Yeah.
That's step 1.
That's step 1. The skunk, like the skunk taint smell of Indianapolis. If it's gonna be based in the football stadium, like all combines must be. We want to get rid of that. We want to make the room smell like Axe body spray, essentially. And so that's the goal of this. Making sure that these hygiene that the hygiene is up to par, and good enough, so that way when you're sweating, playing whatever game you're playing, that you're not exuding anything that's horrendous to our noses. I think a big thing that we have to test is like hand-eye coordination. So I think that there needs to be, there has to be like some sort of screen in front of them where I actually think a good idea would be to force all these gamers that are so used to holding controllers into doing something really intense like Dance Dance Revolution.
I can see that.
Where you would
really good coordination.
Where you would need to basically look at the television screen, and you would have to be able to time hitting the arrows where they need to be hit, and that's
the rhythm game.
Yeah, that's segment. how you kind of keep up with that. What about like rage control too? Like, is there a way that we could test like making sure that these players don't blow their top and like drop like 30 or 40 expletives?
Saying it's just a game is just a losing mindset.
God damn
it. Let's see, what would be the most rage inducing game?
Well, I think about the one game, and I'm gonna forget the name of it, of the guy in the pot that has to climb the mountain.
Oh, fucking Bennett Foddy.
Yes.
Getting over it. That's it. I think that's the game that you would have to park yourself and play at least like an hour of getting over it, and have to like try to get up this mountain with the hammer and fall down many times over and over again while you listen to this peaceful music and hear Bennett Foley just lecturing you essentially on keeping calm while playing video games. You know what? Yes, I agree. You need someone in real life.
We need to hire
not just the game recording. Hire someone.
Hire Bennett Foley. Break him down.
Yeah.
And have him
to just mentally break them down, mentally infuriate them as they try to get over the whatever the fuck.
Well, but at the same time, we're trying to make sure we're trying, right? You want to make them try to rage, and so you're basically gonna have them play this really frustrating game, and then almost make it seem like, oh no, it's all in your head, man. Like, this is all just do it. It's fine. You're good. You're fine. Just keep on climbing the mountain. You're gonna get over it eventually. Oh, you fell. Oh, well, you know what? You could just do it again. You're fine. You're good. Like, that would be infuriating to me if I had to sit there and play it, and I would constantly be reassured that no, I got this. Like, no, I fucking don't. shut the fuck up. And again, I think, and maybe there's like a limit of expletives, like maybe you hit like 10 or 15 expletives out loud. That's like the cutoff point where like they stop you testing and you automatically fail or something. Like,
Yeah.
like that's the next step. Do we test them in different kinds of games? I mean, because
I think so.
So like just to kind of give them like a more well-rounded gaming atmosphere.
Right. So we got the puzzle games. We got not puzzle games, rhythm games. We got Rage Control. I think puzzle game is something, because that is a skill that is very hard to teach.
Okay.
It's kind of like a pass catching running back. Like it's just natural.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's more of a natural thing. So like a gamer who can solve puzzles,
Right.
in addition to doing other gamer things, is gonna stand out more.
What would be a good game for that?
So my thought is either, I mean, it would have to be Portal.
That's true. You could do Portal.
'Cause
Yeah.
the only reason, like, you would do something like my other option was Baba Is You.
Mm.
But Baba Is You has very limited things, and you could just memorize those solutions. With Portal, like, that 3D spatial thinking can be different and has like user created levels. So theoretically, like, you can make whatever game out of that. Like, whatever skills you specifically want to test, you can make a Portal map for that the contestants would not see in advance.
Interesting. I could see what you mean on that front. I was thinking, like, I think about The Witness too, which that's a little limited, but I don't know if they have like a workshop for it, but that's like, those are all just like basic dot puzzles where you're supposed to like surround like the laser light, whatever, around the dot, make sure you separate the right dots, or make sure you have the laser going in the right direction. It's a lot of
how quickly can you pick up on rules?
Yeah, that, like, to me, like, that that does a good job in introducing like a lot of different rules and stuff. So like that's also an option. But no, I like Portal. I like the idea that they would have to be forced to kind of, mentally try to figure that out. And I think that what would be, like, you would have to pit them against someone as well. I feel like you have to do some sort of combat. How do you handle facing another person in competition? Just do it like one on one first of all. Like that would be like the first thing, and then we'd also do like a drill where you work as a team. And I think you do. I mean, I don't like putting this game on a pedestal, but why not Fortnite? I mean, Fortnite for the single player, and then as a team, I think like Overwatch.
Yeah, but like the old Overwatch before it sucked.
Okay.
Or you could do Human Fall Flat for a team.
You know what? That's a good point. I like the idea of Human Fall Flat.
There's so much communication that has to be done in Human Fall Flat.
Yeah. Or, you also could do Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes.
Yes, you know what? I agree with that.
That's like if you do like that's a way to test like a 2-player team essentially working together on that. So like you have like the single player where you're out for yourself and you just want to see how you do generally, and that's maybe a Fortnite. And then you got Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes for like a duo situation, working a duo situation, and then a group format, a Human Fall Flat, or Overwatch before it sucked. Apex Legends I don't actually, to be honest, I'm not very familiar with Apex Legends. Is that like a team based thing?
I don't know if it's team based.
Okay. But yeah, like things like that. I think that you train these players and just see how they handle these situations, and then you'll see how good of a gamer they are. I also think just one more test. How do they do with just a game that is just so simple, maybe not so much simple, but just so like not competitive. Just see what they're like in a relaxed, gaming environment, when they let their guard down, it's gotta be Animal Crossing. That's all. That's what I did. Yeah, I was gonna say. I was thinking like, oh, maybe My Sims, but that is
no
Animal Crossing.
No,
that's a relaxing world that you can enter into on that front. Okay.
All right.
I think we have it. I mean, do you think that there's anything else that any other major thing that because I think that we can now go out there and start testing gamers to make sure that they're up to snuff to being the perfect gamer.
Yeah, I think we got enough.
Okay. So, perfect gamers out there, you now have your food group, essentially. Your gaming food group to test yourself in all situations. If there's anything else, if there's another idea that you have for a gaming combine, please tweet us at Virtual Ball Boys. So, last up on our podcast run for this episode, it is time to add another team to our virtual football league. And
yes,
last week we added the Brain Nerd. We had Brain Nerd Paladins. So the Brain Nerd Paladins are now they're in the league, and they'll just be sitting there for a few episodes because we have a lot of teams now draft. There's a new set of rules that you have set. Set of parameters. I will go and explain that. Yeah.
So I just want to spread the wealth around the country. Mm-hmm. If we have to go international, we will. But I think that kind of not doing things in the same parts of the country. Like when the XFL stuff came out, it was like, oh, there's 2 teams in Texas and 1 in the Midwest. I don't know. I want to see the team spread around the country. So whenever we pick a city, any surrounding state of the state that city's in is no. We can't do anything in that state. So okay. Brainerd, Minnesota disqualifies now Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Iowa.
Okay, so we'll keep tabs on that as we generate some town names here. So here's the thing, and I the thing about this town generator website that I'm using, they just give the name of the town and not the state. So it may take a second for us to find out whether a city or not is in the parameters within the now banned states. So you will have to forgive us on that. I am now, but I'll have 10 options presented to me. And one of them will be our second team, and we'll do a deep dive on that and find out more about the team. And just to kind of go over it from last time, we learn about the location, decide a proper mascot for them, maybe decide their colors, where they're going to play in their town, city.
Yep.
And I think that kind of covers the basics right now. All right, so let me write me some towns. Oh my God! What? Okay, I don't even know how to pronounce this.
Spell it.
Is ES CONDIDO
Escondido, California.
Escondido, California. All right, we got our California team.
Yep. All right, since it's in San Diego County.
And its population is well over the 10,000 mark.
Oh yeah.
It is 151,000.
This is good. So California, we have
Escondido. Okay. Yes.
This is going to be our only West Coast team, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, Washington. Maybe we'll get lucky.
We can still do Washington.
But that's true. California just eliminates a shit ton of teams, a shit ton of states, rather. Okay. So yes, it's based in San Diego County. Is considered it's even considered within San Diego. So San Diego gets a football team. There you go.
Yeah.
That's
new for them.
It's northeast of downtown San Diego, essentially. The city occupies a shallow valley ringed by rocky hills. Incorporated in 1888, is one of the oldest cities in San Diego County. And that's basically covers that. Let's look into the history. Now let's just agree on this before we go too deep. Let's not appropriate Smash mascots. I think we can agree on that because we don't want to go down a Redskins route on that front. It's just not necessary, and I don't think the local public would appreciate that. So the Escondido area was first settled by the Luiseno. I apologize for my pronunciations. I am very poor on that front. Who established campsites and villages along the creek running throughout the area. So Spain controlled the land in the late 18th century. And then in 1846, during the Mexico-American War, the Battle of San Pascual was fought northeast of Escondido. And the battle pitted Mexico forces against Americans. And I guess, unfortunately, the Americans won and took over that area. So the city is known for a large Spanish-speaking population in the first census taken in 1850, when California became a state. And after statehood, non-Hispanic settlers came to Southern California in increasing numbers. The decade of the 1880s is known as the Southern California land boom because so many people moved to the state. So anything that, while I'm reading all this, is there anything that you're finding interesting about Escondido?
Not from that. I looked down. There's this arts and culture section. It's got an offshoot of the Mingay International Museum.
Okay.
Which, so like the main one is in San Diego. This is like a smaller version of it. It's a museum of folk art from around the world.
Okay.
So, I don't know if that's
oh no, that's interesting.
Something we can do. The Chargers used to hold training camp here in the 60s.
Oh, okay. So they're very connected to their football roots. Yep. There's a Escondido National Little League. Became the 19th team to make it into the Little League World Series from the state of California. That was in 1981. In October 2010, Merritt Paulson, owner of the AAA Portland Beavers franchise, announced that the team was being sold to North County Baseball Ownership Group, led by Jeff Morad, part owner and CEO of the Beavers parent team, the San Diego Padres. The ownership group discussed building a stadium in Escondido to become operational for the 2012 baseball season. And in 2010, the Escondido City Council voted to go ahead with the ballpark, and the stadium was slated to open in April 2013. However, the plan to move the team fell through in late 2011. So they're just clamoring for for some sort of team to come to them to represent them. So we're here to help on that front.
At one point, they used to be an agricultural community.
Okay, very similar to our last people.
And then it was all lost for housing
for Americans. Really, let's just call it what it is. It's Americans. Let's see. Is there?
They got a farmers market.
Oh, there you go. All right, so we're moving right back into like, all right, we're gonna call them like corn huskers or farmers. Well, they're not corn, but
right.
I don't think corn can be really grown well in California. Let's see. I want to see the notable people, because there looks like there's a lot of names on this list that's on Wikipedia. And I'm trying to see if anything is gonna.
The co-founder of MySpace.
Oh.
Tom Anderson.
Okay, wonder where he is nowadays.
I don't know.
The dude that basically like started social media, and now his social media is just now it's just a music website. Like he's just It's just like, oh, Eric Whittle. Eric Whittle resides in Escondido. I'm trying to see if there's anything other names or anything. Like I'm trying to the thing that I always look for in these things is like landmarks or like
Yeah.
things that like the city represents, like a symbol, like something that really stands out.
Let's see, what's its motto?
Is there actually
Motto: City of Choice.
Okay, so very democratic in that sense.
I guess.
Like, I mean, I don't know. That's not necessarily a political party, but just generally, just as a tone. I wonder. I was looking at the Escargot. Oh my God, Escondido, school district. I wanted to see if they had like a mascot that they picked out here. They don't seem to have anything that stands out right this minute. I want to see if I can find like the athletics or anything that can give us an idea of where their minds are at. If they have something that stands out to them, because right now there's nothing.
Okay,
here.
So etymology of the word escondido.
Oh, that's
Spanish
helpful.
word meaning hidden.
Hidden.
Could be referred to either hidden water or hidden treasure.
That's a path forward.
Yeah.
So
could we do something around hidden things being hidden?
Good question.
Like ghosts are hidden.
Ooh, yeah, like phantoms,
spirits, reapers.
I want to try. Let's try to like not do like alliteration across teams. So we wouldn't do anything that starts with a P for the time being, at least, unless we think of something that's like very like.
Oh, so not replace. So like we had paladins.
Like we already did paladins, so we don't necessarily need to do
okay.
like a paladins phantom thing. Like we like scratch
Right.
phantom. Try to move off of that, at least a little bit. I'm surprised. Like I feel like there would be more something else that would just stand out, regarding like landmarks or something else in Escondido that would like the okay. I like the idea of the supernatural. I really wish that there. God, Escondido did not do a good job advertising their. Oh wait, let's see. Hold on. Top things to do in Escondido: Mount Woodson Trail, sizable sculptures in a whimsical garden in the Queen Calafia's magical circle. This looks insane. These are like really like artistic sculptures. In like the middle of a circle. If you want to look it up, it's Calafia is Califia.
I found it.
Oh, you found it. Okay.
This is cool.
Yeah, like so they have a very much like an artist vibe to the area as well.
We could like, I don't know if I just had a thought, but it's going to tilt our naming scheme into a very very specific thing. But if we did like the artisans with this, it would like we would kind of put ourselves into a very like medieval naming scheme.
Ooh. Well, I mean, are we against the idea of that though?
I'm not.
Because think about it, like, first of all, this place, holy crap, I want to go here.
Yeah, and look at the city seal. Like, there's a lot of like artisan stuff in there.
Yeah, that's really cool. The magical circle, like that's it looks like it's like in the middle of a park. I'm not against it. I'm not against the idea of a medieval thing. I just hope that if we get to a third team and we want to name them, that if we do want to stay consistent with like the names, that we're going to be able to find another like medieval name for them.
Yeah.
But I don't mind. I think Artisan is a winner right now.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it because other than that, like I'm looking at this and I don't see they don't really have anything else on their websites or anything that really, like, at least with Brainerd you had like the kind of like the water tower or whatever it is that kind of like represents like a symbol of town. It looks like a castle. Like there's things like that, and there's like some interesting history with there, and there's a lot of interesting history with Escondido as well. But there just doesn't seem to be like something that stands out outside of this magical circle thing, which just looks
right. This looks really cool.
Rad. It actually has its own Wikipedia page. So, all right, I'm down to call it Artisan.
All right, so Escondido Artisans.
Okay.
What are the colors?
I think that's I would like to do something unique with them because I feel like because of the artist vibe that they have. I mean, if you look at a lot of the photos for the Queen Calafia Magic Circle, I mean there's a lot of colors there, but like I noticed like there's a lot of like black and white with like blotches of colors here and there. At least the surrounding walls. Is there another color that seems dominant in that group though? Is the question in what we see from like the photography or anything like that.
I'm trying to pull that up now.
Yeah, because there's the Google images.
There's a lot of greens.
There's greens. I see greens and reds, yellows, pinks, and blues. That's like I think that's kind of like a lot of the colors.
I mean, if you want to be unique, like there's a high school in Illinois whose colors are red and green, and I always thought it looked a little weird. But it's definitely unique and a little artisan.
Yeah, I mean, we could make it work with a third color if we wanted to. I mean, we don't have to limit ourselves to just the two.
Right.
Is there another color that kind of blends well with the red and green? Do we want to throw in like a yellow, or maybe something that's like a little bit more on the colder side, like a blue or purple?
So I've always wanted to make a sports team that has red and purple as colors.
I'm not against that for this team. I think that works. So, okay.
Plus, it's a like you can think about it of like, hey, it's the visible light spectrum goes from red to purple.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. That is true. I didn't think about that. Okay. So then and then in terms of where they will play, is there so they live near San Diego. I wouldn't want them to play in San Diego though.
No.
You know, we gotta. I think we have to give them the right to play in their own town. I'm curious. Oh, they do have sports. The Escondido Cougars is the local is the high school team. Yeah, I was looking for that. I don't know why it didn't show up. But okay. Let me go to the map. I always guess like the high school has a football stadium that works, but I'm always gonna look for others that could work really well nearby. And okay, they just zoomed me into an IMAX theater. I don't really understand that. That is not all where like I don't think. Imagine a sport being played in an IMAX theater. Like, is that even like
Gamer Combine 2?
That it's part of the Gamer Combine. I have you been to an IMAX show before?
Yeah. No, I haven't since I was like a lot younger.
I always find it very weird when like they would preview an IMAX and they would fade the screen away and it would show like all like the equipment behind the screen. It's so it always freaked me out. It's just like, why like, why do they do this? This is scary. But yeah, they actually have a really nice looking stadium. It looks like it has a nice track around it. Nice designs. I like the colors. All right, so that it would be as like we did with Brainerd, the high school stadium. Nothing in the surrounding area of interest geographically, geographical wise.
Geographical.
There you go. That's the word. Wise, but yeah, very cool. All right, so Escondido Artisans now join the Brain Nerd Paladins. And now we are off and running, building these franchises one by one. Learn a little bit.
We got two teams.
We have like 6 more episodes to go until this league is filled to our liking. And then we will we will then. I'm trying to think of what we were going to do with these teams after that. I'm still trying to figure that out. If we want to like draft, use like our previous drafts that we've done and kind of like assign video game characters to them. If we want to pretend that the NFL suddenly everyone's a free agent and they're all going to sign with a virtual football league.
Yeah, that would be
that
really something.
That's what the XFL is hoping for, at least.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's that all the NFL players will just want to just claw for the WWE owned XFL, I'm sure. All right. So there's your two teams. We will be back in 2 weeks as free agency comes to the table. A lot of excitement ahead. A lot of just these are going to be our lower podcasts, but we got stronger ones ahead. We got a lot of strong off-season stuff coming up ahead of us. So stay tuned for that.
Serious question: what if every free agent signs with the team they were on?
Then we will have a discussion about why we were so hyped about free agency in the first place. We'll have a very serious discussion about why get us in this situation. Let's just call it the way it is. That's probably what's gonna happen, but not like in an extreme way. Like I think most of the big time players are gonna end up back on their team, but there is gonna be like a few bigger name changes that's gonna shake up the league a little bit. But I don't think I am still of the faith that. Brady's probably going to stay on the Patriots, despite I know all the rumors are kind of now trending towards they're trending towards him potentially leaving. I'm not going to believe it until I see it.
Yeah.
I mean, does I don't see anyone that's tagged outside of, like I said, like Ngakoue, maybe AJ Green. I think they want to keep AJ Green, but Ngakoue certainly could be traded. Yeah, we'll see. The shit can hit the fan. And anything can happen. We've had a lot of crazy years, and this is looking like it could be one of the craziest. So let's cross our fingers and hope that comes together. With all that being said, folks, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Good night and good ball. See, inflection changes how good something sounds, and I've been doing it right for so long that I thought it would be good to do it bad.
Yeah.
Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.